Game 1 was exactly what we saw last playoffs. Laker fans, if you are anxious, if you are a little perturbed, if you have some sort of like heart racing thing going on in you're not a Laker fan. Let me just put it to you that way. You've seen this before. This was not the best Lakers that we have seen yet. Like, needless to say, yes, they're fully healthy, but this was expected. What else did you expect against the Phoenix Suns? Because the Phoenix Suns were healthy. The Phoenix Suns were already the second seed. Like, they're home. They were in front of their crowd, which, granted, they've been in front of a hometown crowd all season long, but this is probably the largest that they had to date. And in my eyes, I was looking at this and I'm going like, the Lakers, I won't be surprised if they give up the first game, because we saw this last season with the Portland Trailblazers. We saw this last season with the Houston Rockets. And those were two games which were by far the most easy games for them to win, because not even the Trailblazers nor the Rockets played their best ball those game ones. So, yeah, Chris Paul hurt himself. Chris Paul wasn't playing 100%. This is only going to look at, like, what if this is what Monty Williams is going to throw at the Lakers, guess what? This is going to be eaten up all day. Because 8 players, if you're only throwing 8 players and maybe 6 of them are good, those 6 players are going to get tired. And sorry, Cameron Payne, but you're really not worth it. You might as well go back to China. I don't know what you were doing over there, but the thing is like, Mike gave me a weird face. He played in China before he came back to.
I was like, what? Okay, now
look, I was not being racial or anything like that. Cameron Payne is a light-skinned black dude. Except for Sarge. You could go back wherever you come from, Sarge. I don't even know where Sarge is from. I just know that Cameron Payne, for what he did to Alex Caruso, who, by the way, is probably the most innocent person in the NBA, right? Like Alex Caruso, like that was kind of bush league for him to throw his hip, and then like for Caruso to go like stand up for himself. Cameron Payne throws the ball at him. It's like, dude, calm down. You're the 8th person on this team. You're not even like one of the starters. Calm down now. You look like Sloth from Ice Age. What are you even complaining about? Now, granted, he did have a good game the time before the Lakers played against the Phoenix Suns. But remember, that's because the Lakers beat that ass against the Phoenix Suns. Remember that game when Anthony Davis said, "I'm back"? Remember that? That was the game where apparently Frank Kaminsky had to guard Anthony Davis most of the game. That was also the game that DeAndre Ayton, like as if he was like the secret weapon, wasn't really guarding Anthony Davis that much, right? Like as if like, oh, we'll save this, we'll store this. The Phoenix ones were like, we're storing this for the playoffs. We know what to expect. But Cameron Payne went off, which says a lot. I mean, you have Devin Booker, you have Chris Paul. Those are your main scorers. The Phoenix Suns were making it seem like, oh, we'll give them this regular season win. And granted, I'm not like disrespecting the Suns because I still commend them. They were the team that weren't trying to duck the Lakers from the start of May. A lot of people were trying to look at the seed and say, hey, where can we end up where we're not going to face the Los Angeles Lakers, who are fully healthy in the first round? The Phoenix Suns were like, hey, if there's ever a time to take out the Los Angeles Lakers, it's in the first round because they're fully healthy, but they lack the chemistry that they've had. When was the time that the Lakers were all fully healthy all together at once? Maybe game 72. The other time, if you remember real long time ago, was probably game 1. I mean, there wasn't a lot of games this season where the Lakers were fully healthy. Maybe like you can barely, if it is double digits, it's barely touching 10, but you can't really say that the Lakers were fully healthy a lot of the time. And with the new additions that they threw into the mix, the Andre Drummond, the Ben McLemore, the Dennis Schroeder, Marc Gasol, a lot of these players that were brand new to this team this year, Montrezl Harrell, I love Montrezl Harrell. These guys are not the same players that were a part of the championship team last year. They're not the same team as they were before. They have gotten stronger, but at the same time, you need to build this chemistry so that way you can be a championship team again. You need to remain like it's different economies. You need to be on the same page. There's no point in having Andre Drummond on the floor with Anthony Davis when Andre Drummond doesn't even feel like he's the most comfortable big man on the floor. And that was the case in game 1. Do I like Andre Drummond? Yes. I know a lot of Laker fans don't. I like Andre Drummond. I just feel as if this is also not the series for him to play.